Subaru.
All right, hey everyone, it's Jason Savino, the marketing director for the All American Auto Group, and this is the All American Auto Mall and Old Bridge Updates podcast. This is episode number 21, and I have a very cool guest joining us today. He's from our Subaru side, so I know last couple guests have been from the Ford side, and I know I'd talk probably a little bit more about Ford and Ford news and stuff like that. So now that the podcast has legs and has been going on for quite some time now, obviously I'm going to look to integrate a little bit more from our All American Subaru store. And today we're going to discuss service a little bit. So Lawrence is going to join us in a minute or two, and he is one of our Subaru service advisors. He's one of our longest tenured service advisors, and is just a fantastic guy, and really, really good customer scores. And obviously a lot of our Subaru service reviews are about him and from his customers. So we could get started with that. And then once he heads out, I'll just kind of wrap it up and give an update on some of our pretty cool used cars that we've gotten in recently, because we've gotten some really unique ones. So I want to just talk about that quickly. But let's jump into it with Lawrence. All right. So thanks for joining, Lawrence. Let's get started.
No problem at all.
Thank you. So tell us a little bit about your first vehicle.
Well, my first vehicle was a 1991 Eagle Talon.
Nice.
Manual transmission, base model, really. First learned how to drive stick using that vehicle. It was actually not running at the time I received it, so I had to put a little bit of effort into it and work into it to get it to run. So it gave me an idea and allowed me to understand the value of, working towards something and getting it to run. And from that point on, I've just been a car enthusiast.
Very cool. So you did the work yourself on that first one?
Very basic work to get it running, spark plugs, things like that. Nothing major, but yeah, it did require some work to get it running again. And yeah, I did do it myself.
Very cool. That's way more than I would have been able to do. I could barely change a tire. Okay, so what's your current vehicle that you're driving?
My daily driver right now is a 2018 Subaru Crosstrek.
Nice.
Limited. It's a fantastic vehicle. I love it. I drive it every day. No complaints. One of the best things about it being a Subaru is that I never dig it out of the snow. Whenever it's snowing or, inclement weather, I just put it in drive and go.
Very cool. What color is it?
It's white.
Okay.
Pretty
Nice.
basic.
Very cool. All right, let's talk about your history a little bit and how you got here to All American Subaru. Let's start with where you went to college.
Rutgers University, right in New Brunswick.
Nice. That's a lot of our staff here in New
Yes.
Jersey. I'm learning, so that's great.
Yeah, a lot of people from my high school went there. So I had a lot of friends there at the time, which was comforting because going to college you don't know too many people.
Yep.
Unfortunately, being at Rutgers and so many people, you tend to be a number there. But I got through college and graduated, and at that point, having a background and like as a car enthusiast at that time, I really wanted to focus on getting a job in the automotive world. Even though I graduated with a degree in criminal justice and a minor in sociology.
Nice. Okay,
Yeah.
so a little bit of an odd path there. You went off, and
Yeah.
What was your first job out of college?
My first job out of college was actually at Staples.
Nice.
But my second job was at a Jiffy Lube.
Okay.
So I started doing oil changes, basic work on vehicles, things like that, and got a better understanding of what I wanted to do as far as if I wanted to continue as a technician or if I wanted to get maybe into management as far as whatever aspects are of the automotive industry.
Very cool. And that's kind of how you found here in All
Yes,
American?
actually, I had a close friend who was also a car enthusiast. Really enjoyed working on Eagle Talons at the time. Like Mitsubishi Motors.
Yep.
And she worked over on the Ford side and informed me you guys were hiring.
Nice.
I thought it would be a good idea I apply. So I went ahead and applied, and I spoke to your brother Nick in regards to the hiring process, and he interviewed me and just went from there.
Very cool. So you've been here how long now about?
A little over 4 years. November would have been 4 years for me.
Wow. Okay. So it's been a while. That's
Yeah.
great. So that's cool. So I love that your history kind of shaped you into, what you are now, which candidly is one of our better service advisors, and the knowledge you possess with Subarus and, coming from that technician background, I think it's absolutely perfect. And I have to say too, I'm not just blowing smoke here because you're on here. it's, every review we get for Subaru Service, I mean, I would say at least 70% of them mention you by name. And so you obviously have this amazing effect on customers, which we love to see. So obviously we appreciate that, and you're a great part of the team here. So
Thank you.
I love all of that background info and stuff. Let's talk about Subaru Service and how it's kind of been with COVID. What would kind of be your advice when a customer is kind of booking an appointment, coming in, kind of walk them through what happens when they get here? Obviously, we have a beautiful state-of-the-art drive-through, so they pull in the back and they pull in. And what's kind of the first thing that happens when they pull into that garage back there?
Well, I mean, if the door's closed, it opens automatically for them as they approach. They pull right on in, and either a valet or a service advisor, whoever's available at that time, will greet them. Obviously, we're keeping our distance, a safe 6 feet as much as possible. As they pull the vehicle in, they open the door, obviously. The valet will take the key and tag up the vehicle, getting the mileage and the VIN number. At that point, we do place plastic coverings on the seat and the steering wheel, obviously to protect against contamination or any dirt or anything that the technician may be tracking into the vehicle. At that point, they could speak to a service advisor. We do review the vehicle with them in the service drive. It's called a walk-around inspection. We take the time, go over the vehicle with them, let them know if there's anything that we see, any damages prior to servicing the vehicle, check their tires before they enter the shop to let them know if there's anything that, visually we can see that they would need to address beforehand. Once we get all that taken care of, we pull up their information, write a repair order up for them or a work order, depending on what they're here for. And they let us know what their concerns are, if there's anything that they need us to address beyond basic maintenance with the vehicle. At that point, we have the repair order signed by them, and we show them over to the waiting room if they happen to be waiting with us, or they're more than welcome to drop the vehicle off for the day, which a lot of people feel more comfortable with COVID, which is no problem at all. And whatever accommodates our guests the best.
Perfect. No, that's great explanation of what happens. And of course, we have, I know, one of the largest loaner vehicle fleets. We have the 2 new waiting rooms where one of them's kind of a quiet room, and, you can go there, kind of work. The other one's a little bit more open. It's got a TV in there, obviously free Wi-Fi in both areas and stuff. So that's great. So last question is kind of, what's the hot accessory right now with Subaru Service?
With it being winter right now, everyone wants a remote starter. I have one myself. I use it every morning, especially when it's frigid, cold out, and we get here early in the morning. So when we're leaving work, it's probably around like the 6 o'clock, 6:30 mark or so. That's the hot item. Everyone wants it. And there are coupons on our website for it. So, always check that out. And it's great to be able to install that for our customers and have that luxury.
Love it. Yep. You can check out all of our coupons at allamericansubaru.com. That's where you can schedule service easily online. Or you call up our dealership. You'll speak to somebody wonderful like Lawrence, and you'll be able to schedule your appointment and come right in. So thanks so much, Lawrence, for joining, and I'll see you around, of course.
Yeah, no problem at all. Thanks for having me today.
All right, great stuff from Lawrence there. Some really insightful stuff for Subaru service customers in general, really. We do service all makes and models. Here at our Old Bridge location, obviously, we have the Ford drive-through service center and the Subaru drive-through service center. So both of them obviously could handle all makes and models with certified technicians, obviously trained by the manufacturers of Ford and Subaru. So definitely great stuff. Glad I had Lawrence on. Now I'd like to kind of talk quickly about some used cars options, because during this pandemic, used car sales have actually been going up. New car sales have been across the industry kind of flat, declining in a lot of areas, a lot of different models, a lot of different makes declining. I talked about on my last podcast episode the Ford recap of 2020 in terms of their sales nationwide, and then our All American Ford and Old Bridge sales. So for Subaru, it was similar. New car sales were down a little bit. We still, did really well, all things considered, for the pandemic and the shutdowns and stuff. But used cars across this location of Old Bridge have been very strong. And, we've always had a very large used car inventory. Obviously, with the amount of new Fords and Subarus we sell, we get a ton of different trade-ins, a lot of unique trade-ins. Our auto group as a whole get a ton of trade-ins, and if a used car is at one location for about a month, sometimes we'll switch it to another location just to get more eyeballs on it. So there's just a nice rotation of used cars throughout our auto group. Of course, we have the Motor Trend certification program, which is exclusive to us in New Jersey. We're one of only 50 dealerships in the country that are allowed to use the Motor Trend certification program, which is one of the better used car certification programs in the industry. I haven't done an episode dedicated to it. I've mentioned it before. You can find all the information all over our website. It's basically a certification program that certifies the used car is in great shape, and then also adds a lot of benefits after the fact. But basically, with our used cars in general, let's talk about a couple different sections of our used car inventory. So right now, a great buying option for Subaru, they're not used, but model year leftovers. So 2020s, we still actually have a few of them left to scoop up for customers. They are a great deal right now. They're discounted again to make room for the 2021s that have been coming in like crazy. So, we have a handful left of like the Crosstrek, the Impreza, Legacy. I think really only one of each of them left. One of them was being shown earlier today. So, these things go quick when they're model year end and they're discounted, and somebody doesn't necessarily care about getting the 2021 model. So those are some good options right now, price-wise. We have a bunch of 2020 WRXs actually, because the 2021s aren't going to start to come out until late spring, I think. So good opportunity right now to get a 2020 WRX if you're looking for it. Like I said, we have a good amount of them in stock, a bunch of different options and colors and stuff. In terms of our used Subaru inventory, so again, when you're talking about the amount of trade-ins we take here, lease returns that we buy out, stuff like that, we have over 60 used Subarus on our lot right now available. And this inventory has been turning over, at a crazy rate. Like I said, we take in a used Subaru, and sometimes it's here less than a week. Depending on the model and how it's priced. So a huge opportunity with our used Subarus. We do certify them. So they're certified through Subaru. And then also we do apply that Motor Trend certification to it if the customer wants some of those benefits, extra benefits above and beyond what the Subaru certification program offers. So some of our Subarus can actually be double certified, which is pretty cool. And again, very exclusive just to us. You're not going to find that at another Subaru dealership. So like I said, over 60 used Subarus. Honestly, the bulk of them are, I would say, between 2018 and 2020. So we're talking, later model year or newer model years, I should say. Usually Carfax one owner, like I said, you get that lease return customer, or you get that customer that is just looking for the latest safety features, latest technology features and stuff. So a lot of them are Carfax one owner. Of course, all of our used cars have Carfaxes that you could check out online to see the condition of the vehicle. And a lot of the 2020 used cars that we have are actually retired service loaners. So Subaru has a cool program, all manufacturers do really, where we could put a brand new vehicle into loaner service. It'll be loaned out to our service customers over the course of 3 to 6 months, basically. Gets to a certain mileage point, usually around anywhere from, I'd say, 3,000 to 6,000 miles. We take it out, we certify it, which means it goes through the shop. We make sure everything's perfect with it. It gets that Subaru certification. Obviously, it's fully sanitized, deep cleaned, all that stuff after being loaned out to all those customers. Obviously, when we do that in service, it is sanitized and deep cleaned after each one. But, as part of the certification, it gets a full detail. And that piece becomes a really, really good used Subaru with, basically a 2020 at this point. A lot of them are on our site for the retired service loaners. A 2020 with 5,000 miles, and, it's in great shape because we've maintained it, obviously, because it's a loaner vehicle. So that's a great option. A lot of our family members and friends who want Subarus actually go that option because it's a way of saving just thousands and thousands off MSRP of what's virtually, a brand new vehicle after everything I just mentioned with it. So that's a very popular option lately that we've been doing with our used Subarus in particular. And then just real quick, just touching upon some of our cool used cars that we've gotten, because I feel like these past couple of weeks we've gotten some pretty unique ones, some of the more expensive used cars we've had, and for various reasons with trade-ins. Usually it's on our Ford side when they trade in one of these unique pieces for like a very expensive Ford F-150 or, a performance truck, a performance Mustang, something like that. And again, this inventory literally changes daily, so you got to keep checking our sites. I do post on our social media pages about these used cars a lot. But right now, just to talk about 3 cool ones we have, 2 of which we got in very recently, a 2020 Dodge Charger SRT Hellcat Daytona 50th anniversary. So obviously, as a Ford and Subaru guy, I didn't know much about this. And when you look it up, it's actually really interesting. It's a very unique vehicle, and it's 717 horsepower. So very, very powerful vehicle. And the uniqueness of it is that they only create a certain amount for the 50th anniversary. This one actually comes with a serial number on it. So it's actually number 374 of 501. So only 501 of these editions have been created. So it is very exclusive, pretty nice looking vehicle. Obviously for a Hellcat, again, jokingly and biased, I am more of a Mustang guy from Ford when it comes to that kind of sports car. But it is nice. It's white and has blue accents and graphics throughout it for that 50th anniversary and the special edition. We also got a 2018 Porsche in that it's a Porsche SUV Platinum Edition, all-wheel drive, just under 50K. Very nice. It's all black. It's on our middle showroom in our commercial showroom right now. So check that out if you're interested in a luxury SUV. And speaking of luxury SUVs, early in 2020, we sold our Lincoln store. And so we had a Lincoln store up in Paramus, Lincoln of Paramus. And we still get, some of our customers that enjoyed working with our auto group will still take in some of their Lincoln trades. So we recently took in 2020 Lincoln Corsair. It's just under 41K, but those Lincolns, when we had it, I used to test drive some of them, take some of them out, and they are very luxurious. They are great vehicles. So like I said, check out our inventory. We have a lot of cool stuff, a lot of luxury stuff, a lot of higher price used cars that maybe you wouldn't expect a car dealership to get. And then we also have the full spectrum. We have, all these used Subarus, all these used Fords, obviously from the Ford side, full range of price from them, tons of sedans, trucks, SUVs, sports cars. We have a lot in our bargain inventory that we call it, that's under 15K, so very affordable used vehicles. Again, a lot of those we're able to certify through the Motor Trend certification program, even if it's not a Ford or a Subaru. So that's a great option as well. So at least you still have that peace of mind, even if it's one of the lower end used cars or an older used car at least. So you still get that certification. So that's the episode today. Glad we were able to talk to Lauren, talk about some used cars, and we'll be back next week.
All American Subaru.